Good morning, everyone. I decided to jump in here this morning to give like a quick little life update and just share some things that's been occurring. Before I jump into like my life, I'm sorry about the sun. Before I can even jump into my life update, I really want to share this dream that I had last night because it's not the whole dream, it's just a section of the dream. And it was just weird, and I just want to share it. So in this dream, we were like, it was me, and it was like this sciencey type of guy, and we were in a lab. And in this lab, it had like these little capsules that had babies in them, and they weren't real babies. They were like manufactured babies. All I can say is man-made babies. And they were only about so big. They weren't very big. And the dude was telling me, he was like, we have to keep them in these capsules because they have to stay incubated. And so I'm like, okay. And so he's showing me the procedure. He's like, they don't need batteries. He was like, in order to work them, all we need is a microchip. And so I was like, okay. And so he was continuing to show me. He was like, they don't need batteries. All we need to work them is a microchip. And so he took one of the babies out of the capsule. And this is another weird part. He took it out of the capsule and he put this microchip. It's like the back. It was like an opening on the baby. And he opened it up and he put the microchip in. And then the baby, well, it wasn't even, and this is the crazy thing, guys. It wasn't even a baby's voice that came out of it. It was like a grown person's voice, but it was an AI. So it was like robotic. And it said, oh gosh, I can't remember what it said. But basically, it was basically saying it was ready for instructions or whatever. And so I was like, what in the world does this dream mean? And I literally just had that dream early this morning. I did not take it to God yet, but I am because I really need to know the interpretation of that dream. And today is November 5th, Saturday, November 5th, I believe. I'm on my way to work. So guys, what's been going on with Yolanda for the last month and a half or month or so whatsoever? Last time I jumped in here, I think I shared a quick word the guy had wanted me to share. This time, I'm going to get in here, I'm going to talk about marital restoration. And I will honestly say that I never thought that it was possible for me. So, anytime I would see a video or anytime I would see or hear anyone talking about marital reconciliation or how God was going to fix your marriage, God's going to restore your marriage, I never watched it, never listened to it because I didn't believe that that was for me. I thought that my marriage was done and it was over with. So I was going through a period of time just for God, consecration, just giving myself to God. And I was on the phone with my spiritual mentor, and she told me, she was like, Yolanda, she's like, you just have to surrender. You have to completely surrender and just give everything in you to God. You know, just let it all out. And so got off the phone with her. Then maybe it was like the next night, and I was sitting in my living room, and I was thinking about what she told me. And I said, I got to surrender. I have to do it because I was going through so much battling in my mind, so much confusion, so much stress. And I'm like, I got to, I need this out of me. So that's what I did. I sat on my living room floor and I just started talking to God. And then I just started praying. I just started pouring out everything that was inside of me. Stuff that I was holding on to that I didn't even know I was holding on to. Things that I thought I was delivered from that I was still holding on to. And I mean, I just poured out my soul. Like literally, like I was crying. I just gave myself completely to God, and I surrendered everything into Him and let Him have everything that was in me. So after that, it was early in the morning. I went to bed and I heard the Holy Spirit knocking about 5 o'clock in the morning. And I was so tired and I didn't want to get up. And I'm like, Holy Spirit, I'm here. I was like, you're welcome here. You're welcome here. I'm listening. I'm listening. And Holy Spirit was not talking to me. He said, meet me in the secret place. So I met him in the secret place. I went in, closed the door, and well, hold on, guys. Before he said meet me in the secret place, he said meet me in this. No, he said meet me in the secret place. It's about your marriage. That's what he said. And so I got up. I went into our secret place. I closed the door, and I just listened. And he was speaking to me a lot of things about my marriage. And I'll tell you the one thing that I'm only going to share is that he spoke restoration of my marriage. Excuse me, I have sinuses. And so I'm like, okay, you know, I accept it for what it is. So, called my husband the next day. Well, actually, yeah, I called my husband because, guys, I had blocked him. I had blocked my husband so he couldn't call me. Like, I let my children still, like, he wasn't blocked from my kids, but he couldn't contact me directly. And the last time he had came to my house, I had literally closed my door in his face and walked away. So that's where we were. So I unblocked my husband, called him, and then he was like, I'm so glad you unblocked me. He was like, I'm on my way over. So he came over, and we were talking, and he was going through a situation. And this is funny because God will put you in a situation. He will align everything for his will. So he came over and he was telling me about this situation. He was like, I didn't know what I was going to do. You had blocked me. You ain't answered your phone. And I couldn't contact you or nothing. And he was just really stressed out and blase, blase, blase. And I will tell you, God truly changes the heart of men, because I went from I don't want to see you, I don't want to talk to you, to being like, I miss you, I love you. Like, you know, and it was like no thing. So we decided, well, not we decided to listen to God and follow his will, and, you know, recount it. And my husband always wanted to. He never, and that's another thing, guys, I'm going to talk to you about. He never would sign the papers. Like, I was pushing hard to get a divorce or to get a dissolution, anything. I was pushing hard for it. My husband was like, no, I'm not signing nothing. I'm not agreeing to nothing. You're still my wife. Blase, blase, blase. So, meanwhile, guys, I was praying for to be released from my marriage. My husband, who was developing his own relationship with God, and was praying for our marriage to be restored. So, I know it's not God's plans for marriages to be separated. So, I didn't know that my husband was praying. I didn't know he wasn't doing any of that. So, God was listening. And, so my husband, so he went to work and stuff. I went to work. He got off work. He came over, and we decided to go for a ride. And that's something that we do together, or we used to do together all the time, because that's the time where we can talk. We're not distracted by the kids, and we just have a good time doing it. We went for this long ride. I'm going to say it had to be 3 hours. And we were just talking about everything, just talking about God, talking about our marriage, talking about, you know, just how we want to do things differently this time around, and make sure that we are staying in the will of God and that he's the foundation. And so, guys, we get home to my house. He pulls into my driveway, and he yelled out the window. He was like, well, now that you out of my car, I can play what I like to listen to now, like talking about that secular music or whatever. I was like, whatever. And I put my thumbs down like this to the music. He was like, you used to listen to this song. I was like, but I don't anymore. You know, we kind of laughed it off. Excuse me, sinuses. And so I turned around to look at him one last time and wave by, and I seen this spirit, demon, whatever it was, literally come from, like, it walked past the side of his car, and I seen it walk into my garage. Instantly, I got really, like, serious chills down my body, and the Holy Spirit just took over. I started speaking in the spirit, and I told my husband, like, come in our house with me real quick. I'm like, just walk me to my door. And so he came in the house with me, and he was like, whatever that was, it was mad, because he said it sounded like, I didn't hear the sound, and he said it sounded like it hit my garage door. He said it was like a loud bang. And I'm like, man, he heard it, but I didn't hear it. So we go in the house, and we're talking about what just happened. And guys, I kid you not, ever since he and I have gotten back together, and it got to be the right thing. It can't be the wrong thing. Because ever since he and I have gotten back together, the opposition against us has been strong. I'm going to tell you, that same night, listen, that same night, I went to sleep early in the morning, and a freaking demon attacked me in my sleep. And I was fighting a demon, and demon had a nerve to try to manipulate my baby. Damn, it's flying long. Tried to manipulate my 10-year-old to where he wasn't listening to me. This demon was trying to attack me. I'm fighting it off. And I'm telling my 10-year-old, he was in the living room, and I know it wasn't him. The demon was on him. And I was like, protect your brother. Watch your brother, because I'm going to find this demon. Guys, the way I was sleeping, me and my mom lived right next door to each other. And I was facing the hallway, and there's a wall that separates my son's room, the bathroom, my daughter's room, and it's just a wall, like a hallway. And let me go back. Before I went to bed, guys, I seen something come into my house. It was black, real fast. I know it was a demon. So I started praying and demanding that thing to get out my house. I thought all was well. There we go. I went to sleep. I started getting attacked in my dream by this demon. And I'm fighting this demon off. My 10-year-old and my little baby, my 3-year-old, he's laying next to me. And the demon's trying to manipulate him against me. And I'm like, no, this ain't gonna happen. And so my 10-year-old came out, and I'm like telling him, protect your brother, because I'm about to go get this demon. You know what I'm saying? And so this is the crazy thing. I was asleep, and the demon ran past me, and it looked like my mom, and it said, something's in the house. Just like that. Something's in the house. So I jumped up, and I go to the direction after I told my son, I'm like, protect your brother. Why am I don't even know. Hold on, guys. I gotta continue this in a minute.